Hi, everyone. Today is Wednesday, October 26th of 2022, and I'm here for Rudy Psychic Meetup with Rudy. How are you doing?
I'm doing, I've been so busy and I did not even have a show topic until this afternoon. It was funny though, because I didn't get stressed. I'm like, something will come to me because it usually always does. But I've just been so busy. My son's playing football this year. So had my hunting trips going. So things have just been like this time of year. And then work is very busy. And I feel like we're moving into that time of, a quickening, so to speak, where, cryptos are starting to happen. I think a lot of things are going to start happening pretty soon.
I said it was basically like, buckle up, things are going to get crazy. Like, just to share with everybody, I know I've talked about in the past sort of the voodoo economics that we're going to witness, where we see not only gold and silver going up, but also, the stock market goes up and cryptos go up and real estate still continues to go up. Yeah, I was going to say that it's really just following the plan that, remember, that this is what real estate's going to do, and then that it'll go down a bit, then it'll start, and then it'll just go like normal up, because people's wage have to catch up with the inflation, right? And that's going to happen. Spencer is working on the problems going on in Europe and the UK with the choice between food or heating that I talked about a couple of years ago in some blabs. So we're gonna post that for the next Flashback Friday it's supposed to be up by November the 1st. But in the meantime, what do you have on the roster for tonight, Rudy?
But tonight, let me go into it because we got a lot of things that came up, and we've had a great chat going on while we were waiting with some suggestions from the audience. So tonight I wanted to cover healing gizmos and gadgets. And I call this, there's wackery in the woo-woo space, and some is legit technology that can help heal the body. And Sam, I know you've always said science will save us. So there's a lot of things out there on the market that might be able to help people with whether it's chronic pain or other conditions that they're not, now they're not all medical devices, but they kind of are out in this woo-woo space. And sometimes people use them and have great results. And the other thing is, as we come into this time of probably great wealth, there's a lot of opportunities for us to probably have some of that wealth taken from us with some of these gadgets and gizmos that we might be in more kind of a believing mindset on, hey, maybe I'll give this a try, especially if you're coming into this woo-woo space. And, I just wanted to get what the people on the other side say about, is there anything to some of these technologies? And some of them have kind of a similar theme. So we'll go into them. And I'm going to basically take Sam through some websites. So let me know if you can see this first one here. Sam, are you able to see this, or hopefully it didn't? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do I'm going to basically take you
network
through some of these websites and just kind of try to summarize what these products do, and then we'll get your thoughts on it. So this one, as you can see, it's a brain training. It's called NeuroOptimal. It's this gadget that hooks to a computer. You attach these wires to your ears and other parts of your body. And basically, it says NeuroOptimal is an advanced neurotechnology designed to train the brain to function at peak performance levels. This innovative form of neurofeedback is not a medical treatment, but rather training for the brain. It doesn't require diagnosis, but it dances microsecond by microsecond with your brain, offering it the information it needs to reorganize itself. So essentially what it does is it measures sort of your brain activity, and then it provides that back to the brain through these sensors. And the theory is it's kind of like looking at yourself in the mirror. Like, okay, you see yourself in the mirror, you straighten yourself up, and it lets your brain know what it's doing. And it's supposed to help kind of organize your thought patterns maybe. And it's kind of one of those things where it's really hard to describe exactly how it works. But this might have things like, let's say if you were dyslexic or having problems focusing, it apparently can kind of maybe help with things like that. So Sam, as I kind of just read through that and you see these pictures, do you get anything on, is there anything to this technology?
Okay. No, I don't think so. Not really. Not anything that I feel is worthwhile.
Okay. I always think that with a lot of these devices we're going to cover, that sometimes like they might work for some people for some reason, but have they really stumbled onto something? So, and that, the other thing with a lot of these sites is I'm going through and researching them. you like, okay, what does it do? How does it work? And they don't have really clear explanations on what they're doing and how to work. And as we go through this, I want to make sure, Sam doesn't endorse these. This isn't, we're not trying to poo-poo any of these products, but we're just saying that, these are just kind of some observations, what we see, and do they make sense, and is there something to it? So anyway, so let's go on. The next one is called the Beamer. The Beamer sends a low intensity pulsed electromagnetic field into the body in order to safely stimulate healthy muscles, which can temporarily increase microcirculation. So you can see this lady with her fancy yoga pants has excellent blood flow. And it's basically a machine, and there's a mat that you lay on. You can wrap it around yourself in certain parts of your body. But the theory is with this electromagnetic resonance, it's supposed to help stimulate blood flow and be helpful to the heart and other tissues, and really kind of help your body, help your blood, expel all the waste and absorb all the nutrients. And so, Sam, as you look at this Beamer, do you think there's anything to this Beamer technology?
Well, I mean, I'm new at using my abilities to sort of quote unquote scan this stuff. And I mean, in early days, you guys might remember that there was a certain compound that a lot of people were taking. And I commented how it would work for some people because of their molecular makeup. But unfortunately, because there would be such a small percentage of the population who would actually need this kind of stuff, they kind of had to market it to everybody. And that's how, so it's sort of like 90% of the people were just, buying expensive, right? And that was kind of the story I got with this. So again, just to give people my opinion on it, I am a psychic medium. I don't know anybody who works at these places. I've never used these products before. And I decided a long time ago, other than maybe like, a hair product that I use or something, right, I'm just not going to really endorse stuff because I don't want to be responsible for like poor management or anything like that. I appreciate that you want to go through the list of stuff that people are maybe spending their money on, because I do see a lot of garbage stuff that it's totally made up, and the people on the other side, like, they tell me that stuff. So I just go by when you're talking, as you show me these pictures and you're talking, what I'm doing is I'm pulling pictures out, and then I'm going to give you my impression of that, because I mean, oh my gosh, I don't want anybody there. I mean, a lot of us are plus 50. We can't be wasting our money, right?
Or your time. I mean, you can sit there with all these wires hooked to you, and it's not doing anything. I'll tell you, as somebody whose spouse is in the healing business, I get experimented on quite a bit. So I may or may not have firsthand knowledge of some of these products. But that's the thing, is like sometimes, my wife's experience with clients, sometimes people respond great to this stuff. Other times, like for me, for the most part, I get nothing. And I think that's kind of how it probably goes, is that it might help a lot of these products might help some people for some things. The next one I want to talk about is, I don't have a product here to show, but it's just red light therapy. I know if you've ever been to like a physiotherapist, sometimes they'll put you under this red light. It goes under a bunch of different names, but basically it's a treatment that might help your skin, your muscle tissue, and other parts of your body heal. And what it does is it exposes you to low levels of red or near infrared light. And infrared light is a type of energy your eyes can't see, but your body can feel is heat. And so red light is similar to infrared, but you can see it because it's red. And so it's known as sometimes low level laser therapy, low power laser therapy, and photobiomodulation, or PBM. And so basically, there's some studies that show it might help with dementia. Like in one small study, people who with dementia who got regular light therapy on their heads and through their noses for 12 weeks, they had better memories. They weren't as angry, or they weren't as angry as often. Dental pain, hair loss, so you kind of go through the laundry list of things that it can help. And so, Sam, anything do you think to this red light therapy, the infrared being able to be absorbed into your skin and help with certain things?
But yeah, I was talking about, I use IPL for rosacea, and
Okay.
it's like a red light, and I can feel the little prickles on my face and stuff. And but I don't think that that helps people with dementia. So again, remember what I said earlier about, I think that there's a certain percentage of people that this would work for, i.e., oh, hello me, right? Because with my rosacea. But you know, if I take it over to my mom and put that on her, it's not going to work, because you know, she needs to take an oral medication, I believe, for her dementia.
Okay. Our next one, and I'll share out, is called LifeWave, and it's very similar concept to this photobiomodulation. It's like these little patches. Can you guess which one
Okay.
I have? Sometimes
Okay.
these get stuck to my forehead by my wife,
Okay. Right.
whether I
Right.
want to or not. So, but anyway, let me share the website, and I will.
Mhm.
Where's my screen share? There we go.
And just
Screen.
a word on Teresa. When she worked on me, I mean, I don't recall her using anything at all. And I would say she doesn't, you know, she's like me. She doesn't need anything.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I find like she has a lot of tools in her toolbox, and so she might, like, for some things she might say, "Oh, I want to do this patch, or do this," or something else she does. She'll use like a color wheel and apply, maybe shine a light through. There's different things that they do, and I don't understand it. But anyway, but back to this life wave. So this is a like there's a whole document that kind of talks about how it works, but essentially what this does, it's a non-transdermal patch, so nothing absorbs through your skin, but it's a patch that sits on your skin, and it stimulates the skin with light to produce health benefits. So the idea is that your body reflects infrared heat energy, and what this patch does is it sits on your skin at some of those key points, like your energy points, like you would use in acupuncture or acupressure, and by reflecting some of that heat light back on those points specifically, there's a bit of a benefit to it. So again, similar thing to this biomodulation.
Yeah.
And one thing, well, let me get your thoughts on this, Sam. Do you think these patches, using that same concept, can have any benefits?
Yeah, if the person applying it knows what they're doing. See, this is the
Okay.
issue, right? It's not one that you can just go buy in the drugstore and then apply
Yeah.
yourself. You would need someone like your wife, for example, who's a pro and knows where those, and it's because it's those points. It's like acupuncture, but
Yeah.
who wants to
Yeah.
stick needles in themselves, right? Yeah.
Well, and I'm glad you
I
said that,
don't.
because the other thing that, so a couple people she works with that use these, and one of her friends, she calls it. Remember we talked about, like, if you took your silver coins and put an intention into it and prayed into them, we'll see what some of those effects are. And some person she works with, actually, she calls it zapping them. She'll take these patches and actually put an intention in it as well, and then apply it. And it's had some great results. But I think you're right. It's the person using it, and they have to know how to use it, where to use it, type thing.
Yes. And so it would be a waste of money if somebody just went out and bought it. But if it's a service that, like, your wife, for
Yeah.
example, would include with her services. Because like I said before, I mean, I've had Teresa treat me before, and she does have something going on there, and she doesn't need anything. She's like me, right? Like, I don't use tarots or anything. And I know that there was that great medium that you also got the book on as well. Van Dykshoorn, that's it. Yeah. So he used a metal wire to maintain focus. And, so obviously, very, very good mediums use certain tools, but it's more to maintain focus. But I do think that particular item is the same as like acupuncture, where you have to be able to put it at certain points. And again, it would just be and it's just, a lot of people don't like needles stuck in them.
Yeah, and I'll say, it's like sometimes they do nothing, sometimes maybe they work, I don't know. But then, she had a friend who had some really bad leg pain, and she, did some testing and put it on these spots, and like he was amazed at them. So again, depends on what it is and who's using it. But let's go on, because I got a few more of these, and I don't know if we'll have time to go through all these, but my God, it's like once I start a topic, it just like it balloons out of control.
Oh my God. Yeah, and a lot of people here are interested in their health, so I don't mind commenting.
Yeah. So the next one is this, it's called the Healy. And this is one, it's a little device and you connect it to an app through your phone. And again, this thing has things you wear on your wrist, but it uses individual microcurrent frequency to harmonize bioenergetic field for many important areas of life. And this is where, when you start clicking around, it's like, what does it do? How does it work? It gets kind of hard to see some of this stuff. But essentially the Healy, what does it do? It talks about the transport of matter in and out of your cells is kind of like controlled magnetically. And the Healy senses the voltage inside the cell and between the cells and applies these different sound frequencies. And there's different programs you can select that are apparently supposed to do some stuff. And you go down their list here and they have, all these different programs of mental balance, pain protocol. Sam, do you think there's anything to the sound frequency being played and impacting your cells, or I don't know, your biofield?
Right. Well, I do believe, that vibrations, that they do affect us, the vibrations, and whether that's through music or, those, a lot of times in the Buddhist religion, they have like these round temples made of a certain type of wood. So even when you talk, there's like a vibration through like it, and you can feel it in your body. So it's along those lines where, it's not like this total waste of money where it doesn't do anything at all. But I would be very careful, paying anything, any large sum of money for that, because I would say more than anything, anybody who would take the time to put that on and concentrate and sort of get in tune with themselves, that just really helps balance you mentally, spiritually. It helps with your mood, your blood pressure, things like that. So I don't want to say, like there's some stuff it's just total garbage. And I'm like, how much did you pay for that? They're like $4,000. And I'm like, oh, you could have bought crypto or very cool. Like,
yeah, but that's a great point, because many of these products, as you use them, they force you to sit and be quiet. Maybe you're listening to music in the background, but you're right. It's like forcing you just to do some quiet time. And but back to, the sound frequency, there's all kinds of sound healing, but even, Santino has mentioned before in some of our discussions around, and Santino is one of the members in the Psychic Nerds group, but around some of the, the Indian philosophies and some of the chants and things that they do in the original language, there's a vibration with some of these chants and I'm missing the word here, but, I don't want to say a mudra. I think a mudra is like a hand thing, but they're designed to say these words or recite these things or these mantras to raise a vibration or do a very specific vibration. So the next one I want to show is more just for giggles here, because I saw this one and I thought, I got to share this. This is the custom crystal bed. It's a massage table with crystals. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at anyone who's used this and had success with it, but these are the kinds of things that end up being out there that people like you got sound bowls, you got some lights. I mean, this is like 50 shades of rainbow healing or something. I don't know. Seems crazy, Sam. Thoughts on the custom healing bed?
Well, I am not somebody who is a believer in crystals as having a power unto themselves. Can, if somebody, for example, just like Van Dykshoorn, if he had, instead of a wire, if he had like a crystal rock that he had held onto for focus point or something, I would believe in that. I'm like, I have no problem with that. I had a problem like in very early days, my story about that first spiritual retreat I ever went on. I was celebrating leaving a business that actually just fired everybody yesterday who held my position. So just for those of you who are like, hey, Sam, you got great timing, man. I'm like, yeah, with cryptos too. That's my life. It's coming. The wave is coming. But anyways, but the whole thing about the crystals is that I just remember the people on the other side had a lot of conversations with me that weekend. I had a lot of supernatural things happen. It was so crazy that weekend. I was like, oh my God, I hope I'm not nuts, right? And it was really helpful when one of the people who when I saw Dolores Cannon written over her head, I knew I wasn't crazy when she was like, oh, I was just watching your videos up in my room, right? So I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. Oh, that really is connected with what is going on in the world. But somebody had spent, maybe they were lying, I didn't think they were, $10,000 on a crystal.
Yeah.
And they passed it around the group, and I guess it was supposed to have this magical power and things like that. But I just remember the people on the other side, they were not happy with that at all, because they felt like the person had been ripped off, taken advantage of. And, you know, and here's the thing, right? They weren't somebody who could really afford to give that $10,000 donation to this person who was a spiritual, you know, like was working in that realm, but, you know, was short on cash, needed some money, and then just kind of, you know, propped up something that maybe they should have only sold for. It was a very cool crystal. I mean, it was probably worth $600 or $700. You know, it wasn't completely worthless, but, you know, like I said, this person was fleeced. I saw that story, and now that I have so much confirmation and feedback from Sam Jammers, from readings and things like that, I feel confident to say that, looking back now, I really feel like that person was, and I wouldn't buy a quote unquote healing bed that had crystals in it.
Well, and I know this has come up before. I actually had some of these. I found these in my garage. Organite. Organite is, and I'll let you check these out in person next time you're here. It's a blend of resin, metal, and quartz crystals, and it's supposed to generate positive bioenergy and harmonize negative energies. I think I had an old one thrown on top of my electrical box, but you know, these are something you can pick up, you can make. But I think I'm pretty sure I know your answer on this.
Well, you know, it is interesting to mention, though, that some of those occurrences that we see where, in particular, a ghostly figure does the same thing over and over again. Usually that's a quote unquote a recording. And they said they find those type of finds are more common where there's a lot of quartz. I think that's the mineral that's in the ground, right?
Yeah, around quartz.
So that was the story that, yes. So that was the story that I was being shown when you showed me that. So I don't think that mix in particular, but I think the people on the other side just want to remind us that we do have metals, minerals, rocks, you know, and remember that in one way or another, everything is living. It's kind of weird like that. Not everything has souls and spirits, right? Like light, we're all light beings, right? Like we're all in it together. Just like I was saying to my husband, like I was like, no, I said, you can't reincarnate as a dog, like for example.
Yeah.
Right? But anyhow, yeah, I think
we could probably, boy, we're already at almost a half hour here. We could probably keep going on forever. A couple, two more things, and I know some folks have put some things in the chat, so I don't think we'll be able to get to everything. But I want to touch on two other things. One is alkaline water. Now you see this is becoming more popular. You can have machines that will, you know, change the alkalinity of your water. But Sam, this is even from like WebMD. They have it, and let me see, alkaline water. So for most people, alkaline water is not better than plain water. Bottled water sold as alkaline water is regulated by the FDA. And essentially it has a higher pH level than plain tap water. So proponents say that it can neutralize acids in your bloodstream, prevent disease, maybe help you absorb minerals faster. Sam, do you think there's anything to, you know, alkaline water versus regular tap water? Are there any benefits, or is this kind of maybe depends on the person type thing?
The acid in your bloodstream, I think that one is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, I wonder if this is one where I don't know if you want to drink it all the time, but it might help certain people in certain situations because it interacts with your body differently.
Yeah. Again, you know, there's a lot of these things. There's a certain percentage of people that these things will work for. Okay. And also finding dimes says, I would have to say the mind is a powerful healer, hence the placebo effect, which some of these things will even bring on as well. It's almost like when I was talking before that I wanted to do a grand experiment with sort of praying in tongues and focusing on, you know, if someone, for example, had back pain or whatever. And I was like, I know it's hokey and I would never, I won't charge any money to do that for somebody. It's just that if I was sending something to them anyways from Sam Jam, it would be like, all that I ask is like, let me know if you get a healing or not, because my understanding from the people on the other side, it's like when two or more agree, but then there's something to do with, like I said, I was using it before, Van Dyke Shorn with his wire, or if someone had a crystal, and that's what I'm, looking at now. I'm like, if I pray in tongues on something and then I send it to them in the mail and then it arrives and they're like, oh, and then they start concentrating on the healing, that maybe that's what they asked for. Maybe they're always having problems with their back, or they can't consume certain type of foods without stomach upset or something like that. And then all of a sudden it just, dissipates. Well, I mean, it could be the placebo effect, right? But it's like, whatever works, right? It's like, man, if you can relieve yourself of that pain, because, I had somebody when I was a teenager, I was in a car accident when I was 17 and I had really bad back pain. And there was this woman who was like, I was just selling books door to door, and I told her about my back pain, and she was like, oh, I'm a Christian, can I pray on your back? And I was like, sure, yeah, I believe in that kind of stuff. Yeah. Go ahead, have at her, right? So, and she prayed on it, and you know what? And then my back pain went away. So I was like,
interesting, yeah. As they say, if it don't scare the cows, nothing wrong with it, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't hurt. Last one, Sam.
Exactly. If it doesn't.
Last one, and we'll get into the questions, is the structured vortex water. Where did that one go? Let me do it. Window. And that's the one I was just showing here for folks. So this is, and Cliff High was talking about this a while back. And the idea with vortex water is that, in nature, water takes meandering paths. It kind of, rotates. There's vortices. But once it gets into the plumbing system and it's in a straight pipe, it kind of loses some of its energy. So this alive water, there's these devices that will actually put these twists in the pipe to generate these vortices. It's supposed to kind of revitalize your water, help you absorb minerals, better laundry, garden. Your garden's going to grow better. It'll make you better looking. Sam, do you think there's anything to treating your, like drinking water out of a stream that's been running down versus water that's, say, been sitting in a pot for a week that you just sip out of? Anything to the movement of water?
Well, as far as this product goes, it's not something that, again, you want to spend your money on. I think for most people, it makes no difference whatsoever. And even drinking water from a stream, it can still have bacteria in it that can make you very, very sick. Even though it's fast running, it has to do with the source and quality of the water, whether it's moving or sitting. Now, we all know that you have to have a healthy inlet and an outlet, or else you get swampy water. This is completely normal.
Okay, thanks, Sam. No, appreciate the input. I won't get in. I have more gadgets. I have like goofy pendants, but I'm pretty sure I already know Sam's answer. Even though this does say Japanese technology, I'm going to assume that maybe it's not going to work for everybody. All right, Sam, let's get into the questions. We have 17 tonight. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Over the years, we're talking about these healing things. I've bought things. I've had things given to me. Like these were these pendants. I thought, we'll give them a try. And then, my wife will tell me, well, test it. You kind of do there's different ways you can energy test something to see if it's good for you or bad for you. You close your eyes, put it in your solar plexus. And if you lean forward, it's good. If it lean back, it's no good. And so it's funny, like when you start, okay, does this actually work? Maybe it doesn't. And I think it all goes back to what, who was saying that your mind, so much of it is dependent on your mind. But when they have marketing materials like this, hey, look, this is without the pendant. This is with the pendant. Like, what does it even mean? I don't know. But anyway, some of this stuff is comical. But as you get into the woo over the years, you'll kind of sometimes you come across this stuff. And like I said, it doesn't hurt to try it as long as it doesn't do you any harm. So, and Bruce D had some good pulse magnetic field therapy. We didn't get to the Skenar technology, and there's a lot of these biofeedback things. But I think what I found in doing this research for today's topic is a lot of these are working on very similar principles around biofeedback, light reflection, or sound waves. So anyway, Sam, I was just rambling while you came back in. You look good. I can see you now.
Sorry about this, guys. I'm Okay, yeah, we might as well. Well, we've got a connection. Let's keep going.
Yeah, and let's get through. I got a football game to go to here in about a half hour, so we'll get through these questions. All right, we can click through Bradley's. That was part of his longer question.
Okay.
Rosanna M has a really interesting question here. Hi, Sam and Rudy. Humans must have water to survive. Can you see what aliens need to survive? Do they need water also? Thanks.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Depends on the alien, I wonder. Liquid
Yeah.
water? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any details on that one. But yeah, that was a really good question. I'll
Okay.
see
Maybe
what
we'll
I
ask
can dig
again
up there.
when we talk about the invasion. Maybe that'll come up again. So
Yeah, maybe it will.
all right. Tinkerbell says, how many years till the next virus pandemic hits the world? Will it be worse than COVID?
I don't see any viruses spreading. Like, no,
Okay.
that's not going to be the problem. It's going to be man-made problems.
Okay. You think like a man-made virus or bio hazard that's going to get unleashed at some point, or
No, war and just, hogging all the water and fighting
okay,
with your neighbor and economic destruction because people are corrupt and, governments promise one thing, but then a corrupt guy gets in and steals all the money. It's just
humans
terrible,
being human? Yeah.
bad stuff. Yeah.
All right. Limit Break writes, hi, Sam and Rudy. I browsed through a Q&A room a few days ago and read a discussion where Sam addressed something about an asteroid that it might hit the Earth before 2030. She said, high chance it will be avoided as nations unite and science will help humanity recover from the after effects. Can you elaborate more on that and see if there's anything else the people on the other side want us to be aware of and prepare for?
Yeah. So, one of the things that I feel like is really important is that humanity unite. I think that once people realize that the people on the other side are real, and I think that there's been a lot of people who can do what I do, but they can't do it so sort of well on demand, I guess. There's a few people who can, but I think that there's going to be a lot more who can just through learning how to manage it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that'll help change society a lot in the future once people recognize that this is just our stopping point. We're just here to learn. So, some of the people who are like really, really bad and do horrible things, like there's an awful lot of people who've just lost hope, abused as children, poverty stricken, negative, no good role models. And, everything's just going south for them and there's no hope. And I think that if every single person knows that, there is hope, and I feel like there's going to be more of a worldwide acknowledgement of that hope,
Okay.
because there'll be proof, right? If you can prove it, if you're like, okay, well, all right, how about I tell you where the hurricane's going to hit so you can get out of the way? How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, tune in tomorrow night at 8:00. I'm going to tell you where it's really going to go, and then you can move and get out of the way. Right?
There'll be more.
And then
Yeah.
everyone moves and gets out of the way, and then it becomes like a regular thing, and people are like, yeah, we can do it together, and people get excited, and then someone else pops up and says, hey, I can do this, but I could do it with crops, right? And,
Yeah.
I know, but it's just like, I think you can have a little bit of fun with it too, and I think that we're moving in that direction, just where it's going to be more accepted, and people are going to be learning a lot more, and that there is going to be an asteroid that's going to come awfully close to us and clip us, but because we were able to get together and all shoot our rockets together at it, we're able to keep it from killing everybody. But there's still, it's not like a 100% miss, so there's still some fallout from that. I was trying to figure that out today. Actually, I was thinking about it and asking questions. I was like, does a volcano blow up at the same time or something? Is this like really the everything at once? Does the everything at once keep going like through the 2020s? Is it going to be that crazy? I didn't think it was going to be that long. I was getting like 4 years, and then for other countries, it would be like 10 years.
Okay. Sounds good. Sorry, my dog was coming in. She needs some attention. It's been a long day. All right, our next question comes from Solar Dragon. Hi, Sam and Rudy. Do you see that biogene editing will help humanity in the near future? Maybe 5 to 10 years out? Life extension, cure disease? Thank you.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Gene therapy. Definitely. That's a definite for a lot of things. I think that I think it'll be like multiple sclerosis. And actually, I said Alzheimer's was a pill, and that's for some, but there's going to be other Alzheimer's where it'll be gene therapy, maybe for like that Pick's disease. You know, the one that hits people when they're really young? That's devastating because people can have like little kids and everything. Not
Yeah.
saying that, you don't need Nana and Papa. You do. I mean, anybody who's had grandparents who've played a role in their life
Mhm.
knows that. Um, and but the thing is that at least, when I'm in my 70s, if I happen to pass away in my 60s or 70s, I mean, at least my kids will be grown.
Yeah.
That's kind of the plus there. But with these types of diseases that hit people when they're in like the prime of their life and when they die, it just, kids with no parent, loss of income, loss of productivity. Anybody who's had a parent die at a young age knows how devastating that is. So I'm really happy about this type of um, advancement. Again, we kind of have on our listings that we want to support, as our wealth continues to grow. And I feel like there's even a lot of people here who will fund, access to some of these new therapies for people who otherwise couldn't afford them.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Sam. Next question comes from Wayne. Hello, Sam. A few days ago, there was a comment about a machine that makes brown gas, a healing gas. Is there anything to it? And specifically, Sam, I'll share this out. I think someone mentioned it was this brown gas aquacure generator. Interesting. Looks like a little bit of a homemade device. Anything to this, Sam, the brown gas?
Well, I think it does. Does it give like more? It has to do with the oxygen in your blood because
I don't know anything about this.
and I
Oh, there
lost
you go.
your
You're back.
video.
Okay. You're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what this does, but the funny thing is, this is extremely similar to that website for the massage table. Which makes maybe it's just the distribution network, but yeah, I don't know anything about this gas.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's a case of it working for some people or people like in a certain demographic, for
Yeah.
example. So if it's like, oh, well, it's pretty good for people who are like over, 75 years old, for example.
Okay.
But in order for them, they do the math on it, and they're like, in order for us to actually make this a go, we got to sell it to everybody plus 50. So let's pad the claims a little bit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the more marketing you do, interesting. Okay, thanks for that, Sam. Next question from Cat Lady AZ. Hi, Sam and Rudy. The 3029 asteroid prediction is the topic today. During an Ask a Medium, when the advanced tier still could ask, Sam, Sam said I would have an oceanfront condo in Puerto Vallarta, which I thought I never could do. Could this be due to the effects of the asteroid in the northern hemisphere? An oceanfront condo in Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, well, that would fit because I mean, if you have money, why would you stay up where I guess I just see overcast skies or dirt in the atmosphere, like for the northern hemisphere for a period of time. That again, another thing where everybody has to work together. But I see success in that. It's just that it's a scary time. Everybody has to work together. So yeah, but a lot of people will be moving south. So it lightens the load northern. Because I mean, if you don't have as many people to feed,
Yeah.
If Toronto has half as many people to feed, for example, but I mean, they still have to keep like their manufacturing plants going and their oil refineries refining. And you know what I mean? It's like they can't abandon everything just because it's, dark most of the day, but it's not like black in the sky. It's not conducive to growing crops and going to the beach for a tan.
And your solar power won't work as well, and a lot of homegrown.
It won't work at all. Yeah, no. Yeah. Your solar power, you're wasting your money.
All right, sorry, Germany, you're screwed. We gotta get some nuclear plants going.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, exactly. And because I was like, why do I feel this incredible need to just hoard properties where I'm going and help Sam Jammers get set up who because a lot of people don't know about like taxes and
Yeah.
I worry about a lot of people who don't have experience with money getting fleeced and stuff. So I think that will be a pretty good force together to keep each other safe and be able to do research on big projects and everything. Because
Okay.
you watch those shows about people who win the lottery. And like I said, what's happening now, it's not going to pass by our way again. Like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that we have. And
Okay.
that's why, once you get it, like you don't want to lose it. You want to put it somewhere that it's going to be able to help you continue to spread your kindness, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you even mentioned to me in a reading about a building or like a condo complex or hotel building that we will all own things in. So,
Yeah, got to put it somewhere.
yeah, interesting. All right, next question from Huddle Queen. Hello, Sam and Rudy. I have noticed a few recurring themes pop up in my life, such as being in places that used to be a blacksmith shop. Even a longtime friend told me that his last name means blacksmith in the old country. I've ended up in places with other recurring themes and street numbers as well. It seems a little too coincidental to be a coincidence. Is this how the people on the other side help us affirm our path? So, Sam, those commonalities, those themes we see, is that a sign from the other side?
It is, but it's not to confirm your path, Huddle Queen. You won't really know that until you get to the other side and you do your end of life review. And I know some people ask me, they're like, what am I supposed to do? What am I here for? And and most times that above all things, I don't have like the answer for. I just know I just can point out like the pothole in front of them. Don't step in that. You won't get to where you want to go if you step there, right? Go over here instead. I don't know what it is you're doing over there, but yeah, you're gonna turn right and this is what you got to do, right? But it's sort of like part of living is discovering these things, about where you're going to be in your life. And so what I would say, Huddle Queen, that is with rather affirming, it's sort of like it's the wink from the universe stuff. Like even the other night, I was typing out the word Lucas and on TV, the program my husband was watching, he was watching like the A&E, the 48 hours, when they murder somebody, you have like the first 48 hours and he watches those. He likes those detective programs. Yeah. And apparently the guy they were interviewing, his name was Lucas, but I wasn't watching it. I was on my computer. We're in the same room together. It's just I'm working and he's watching a program and I'm typing an email. And my new tenant down at my beach house, her son's name is Lucas. And I was typing out his name when they said Lucas on the TV. And that and I told you about when I said kung fu and on the TV, like right in front of my husband, they said on the TV, they said the word kung fu at the same time I was having a conversation with my husband using a word I don't talk a whole lot about. But anyways, yeah, that's what it's about. All of that kind of stuff. And you're going to find more and more and more of that is happening. Because to me, I'm getting it. I would say if it's not once a day, if it's like every second day, every once in a while, I get 2 or 3 things that happen that are the wink from the universe. And it's just been, and the price I pay for it right now has been like the squirrel moments are off the chain. I apologize to people ahead of time. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I mean, obviously I did not run a successful business for 32 years, like being like, foggy brain, like Blondie here.
That's right. That's why we can text each other and we'll keep you on track. That's everybody.
Yeah. You and Muam, you have my phone number, so you can text me and be like, "Hey Sam, where are you?" And I'll be like,
"Yeah." The night I knew that, I'm like, hey, I should text her right away. I shouldn't wait 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, don't wait.
Silver Spirit says, "Are crystal beds useful as healing instruments?" Thanks, Sam and Rudy.
Nope.
It's back to what we were talking before about all that. Art Dreamer says, what healing places do you think exist? 2 healing places I have experienced are, I can't read this one. One is in Serpent Lake in Crosby, Deerwood, Minneapolis. or Minnesota, sorry. And my other favorite healing place is Sedona, Arizona. I'm also aware that our minds can be creatively utilized for healing powers. Sam, anything to these places or spots that are known to have healing things, or even like places where you go in these springs that are supposed to heal you. There's all of these all over the world. That they seem to be famous mecca points all over the world.
Well, the springs and stuff, I think they have like a high level of minerals and,
Mm-hmm.
treats the skin. So that's kind of a different, the only places that I would say are kind of like special are kind of in a scary way. They're the ones I would want to avoid. Those
Okay.
portals I talk about that like open up. Yeah, totally avoid those when you can. If you
Okay.
hear there is one, do not go there. When I was watching that Skinwalker Ranch, I'm like, okay, I'm going to begin to make a list of the places in the US where I am not going to go, because I guarantee you that a portal will open up when I am there, and I don't want that to happen. I'm just like, oh, I have that kind of luck. No, don't want that. So I don't feel that there's like, special, oh, I have to go here. But I do feel like there is healing power for us as humans to spend time at peace in the woods, or even, like I'm here in the city. Even if I went through a walk through the graveyard that's in the middle of the city that has, I mean, we even have Titanic
Oh, yeah.
people from the Titanic are buried in there as well. And it's really interesting to read the headstones from the 17 and 1800s.
Yeah.
So you just even walking through there, and it's like, it's the grass is there. They have the trees. It's quiet. You don't have like cars trying to run you over. That's as close as I can get to a moment of peace. Or even down at the water. The water, oh yeah, that's huge. If you can spend some time on or near the water. So that would be my advice to anyone, rather than spending a lot of money going to like Sedona, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, go and find a lake close by, and swim out to one of those little wharf things and just kind of lay there and look up at the sky while you float on the water and relax and see if you get some information, if that's what you're looking for.
All right. Well, I'm sure also Tarzan will let you come down to his property and rub mud all over yourself by his lake, all for maybe $100 a day. Tell him that Rudy sent you, and he'll give you a good deal.
Okay.
Let's see. Silver Spirit. I think Silver already asked one. Why are angels always depicted with wings? It drives me crazy.
I think from the early days,
Okay.
like when they had statues and paintings. Because think about the cherubs, right? They had wings and stuff.
Yeah, so maybe it's also not kind of like the universal symbol for angels. So it's kind of that it helps us identify it, but they don't actually. You wouldn't see them with wings, would you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you would. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like they do it just like being we understand a human
Okay.
form. But oh yeah, people will tell you they felt their wings, like the flapping, like the
Yeah.
wind, and their hair was going up, but they couldn't see it. They could just feel that the angel was there. But they're more fast than anything. See, they're superhuman, and they're not light beings like we are. They're different. They were actually created by us, because we're all
Okay.
source, right? So together in the beginning, they were created, and they were created to serve us. So of course, when we come down here to earth in our human bodies, we're dumped into our human bodies, we can't even get back to the other side, like through that tunnel. That people will tell you when they pass through that tunnel, when they have a near death, they'll tell you someone's with them. That's their guardian angel. You can't go through without a guardian angel through that. Like when I go to get information, when I'm doing readings, or you guys are asking me questions on a live stream, I'm not going through the tunnel because I'm still alive. I'm running through that, the grass is high and stuff, outside of the tunnel where the things are. That's how I'm getting to the other side, because that blocks it, right? But you guys, when you die, you go through the tunnel and you have your angel with
Okay.
you, and they don't need wings to do that. It's just,
Okay.
I don't want to say theatrics. It's just like the same way if you see that they have legs or feet or something. I mean, that's just how they're presenting themselves, so you understand what they are.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting archetype that we have here as humans and angels. All right. Next question from Cal. Hi, Sam and Rudy. What are the best ways to cleanse your family of evil spirits and/or their influences? Thanks.
Oh, well, I don't, I think the best way, first of all, is to not get into it in the first place, but, that, and the way you get into it is by, playing games, like, you know, those spirit boxes, right? The spirit ghost boxes or whatever. Yeah, things like that, Ouija boards. You know, and I'm not saying that all people who do tarots are, because again, we're talking about like just like the focal point, you know, like just like the wire with Van Dykshoorn. But I mean, I know of somebody from in my past, my mediumship told me that when they were using these cards, they had like bad things coming around them. So I wouldn't actually stay around when she would pull out her cards, because I was like, no,
And
I'm exit stage left. I don't know what's going on, but I'm leaving.
I think,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
praying
So
intentions. I think, like, if you focus in a positive white light and just kind of
yeah.
putting the shield around, I think intention has a big thing to do with this. And we've also mentioned in the past that burning sage can actually clear some energy. It's the vibration of the smoke helps out with that. So,
Salt as well
oh
does
yeah,
work. That's not, and I don't know why, because remember we talk about minerals and how some
Mhm.
minerals and things can affect, like just like the sage. There are some things here in the 3D that do
Yeah,
somehow affect, but sometimes it lightens our senses so that we can do what we need to do as the little light beings that we are inside of our bodies, right? Because you have, it's so complicated. They're showing me pictures of stuff and I'm like, okay, all right, I'll try to
not
all right.
following.
I think I'm gonna have to sit down and kind of maybe write this one out. But yeah, this is very interesting because I don't actually know about any of this stuff. But I do have some sage there in my kitchen that I'm ready. I'm on the ready, and we have threatened to use it, and the threat has worked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I would think like
that
salt
portal,
around
because I
the
told you there's a
You mentioned
threshold.
the portals, or even like I was salt around the perimeter of your house, or even at like your doorways and windows. It
Yeah,
seems like that kind of would if it's not
yeah,
like you have the
yeah,
intention of I'm sealing this out. This is my space.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
might
and
be
I
some.
told, like, there's some new people in the crowd, but I have mentioned in past Rudy Psychic meetups about the story about my oldest, Spencer, who is, and I would have to say that Spencer is the same type of medium I am, and gets an extra advantage doing the editing for the readings, you know, when we do the reading videos. So it's
Yeah.
a great opportunity for a much younger medium to learn, like how, kind of like, this is how it's done. Um, and it's just through practice. But when Spencer was really young, things used to visit. And
Mhm.
I called it the magic stick. And I would take this stick and I would trace along the floor all the way around. And now I have speaking in tongues, right? You guys have heard that before. So I would speak in tongues, but so it was important to do something like out loud. But you know, if you don't have speaking in tongues, the same thing would be if you say out loud, you know, what your intention is, like why you're doing that. For this was a little boy that would kick Spencer out of bed.
Oh right, yeah,
Boot. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that.
And one time I heard Spencer telling the babysitter the story, and this little boy, and he kicked me right out of my bed. And and I knew that it was true. But then Bernadine started kind of finger wagging and, oh, you don't tell stories, you know. And then I kind of popped in the room and said, oh, well, actually, Bernadine, that was a pretty vivid dream that Spencer had. So, and then Bernadine was like, oh, okay, you know,
All right.
but I was like, okay, well, we got to take care of that little boy. So that night,
Yeah.
I was like, here's the magic stick. But you have to tell them. You have to tell the kid what you're doing,
Hmm.
right? Because remember, two people or more have to agree.
Okay. Interesting. It can be very powerful. All right, Sam, 4 more questions left. Pony Pete says, Dear both, how much bad energy do you see around the Davos World Economic Forum and around those people? The forum was established in 1971. What future does it have?
Oh, it has no future.
Okay.
Yeah, people are on to it. It didn't work out at all. And it's going to be a really bad time for the obnoxious rich people. Not for the ones that, you know, kept it on the down low and help other people. But remember when I said, when someone asked me about Klaus Schwab and what he said, and I was like, oh, they're not going to get anything that they want.
Yeah. Yeah. And, in these forums, they're out there, but I always wonder, like, sometimes they start out with good intentions, but then they get usurped by people with bad intentions. And then they get this reputation. So how much of it is a reputation and it's the focal point of all the world's evil, and YouTubers can kind of talk about it. I don't know. Is there anything to it, Sam, or do you think it's more like the people that get involved in this just have started to manipulate things?
Yeah, the people who get involved in it, they start manipulating things. And first, like they think that, oh, they're going to do it for good and they're going to change this and do good for that. But it doesn't work out at all. And yeah.
All right. Next question. Did Adam Weishaupt, founder of the Illuminati, move to America and change his name to George Washington, the first president of the United States? So was George Washington Adam Weishaupt?
No.
Okay.
No, he was not. He was actually George, and he did chop down the. No, actually, that's a wives' tale. The chopping down the cherry tree, where he said that he did, where he was like so truthful and said that he did it. No, that was just a story. But he was, he was George when he was little as well. Not Adam.
Got it. Manoj says, "Hi Sam, is wearing gold good for your body?"
No, but if you need to escape the country that you're in and they're telling you that you can't take out cross with more than $1,000, your gold jewelry does not count. So I think that sometimes it can be good for on your body.
Okay. But yeah, because some people, there's women who stainless steel earrings or silver, like they're allergic to certain metals. Sometimes, and I know in my wife's energy work, having metal this around your body all the time might not be good, whether it's energetically or physically, right? It can have some effect, right?
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I get a reaction, and that was one of my rings. Like I don't usually wear any rings, but I used to get like if I took my ring off, I would have like a dirty band right there because it would actually be eating into my skin.
Okay.
It was gross. Yeah, it was like I used to take nail polish and coat it and stuff, and then I got a little touch of rheumatoid. I don't know what type of arthritis it is. I don't really have arthritis, but it was just like two knuckles, and one of them is this one, and then it's the middle finger of the right hand, but it's this finger here, which is your wedding band finger, right? So if people wonder why I don't wear a wedding band, it's because this knuckle, it swells up sometimes, and then it swells. So some people are like, oh, well, you can get it adjusted. It's like not if it swells and then doesn't swell and swells and doesn't swell.
Okay. On the flip side of that, people make copper bracelets, copper jewelry. Does copper maybe have a beneficial effect? Because that's one of the theories is that copper maybe helps reduce inflammation. Is there anything to copper?
Not like that.
Okay.
No, not like that. I'd go more for like the shockwave therapy or something. If you're looking to get, that's like really good. That shockwave therapy, I can't say enough things about it. If anyone's having trouble with like tennis elbow or anything like that, it actually sends a charge like through your body, and it just does a slight micro tear on your muscle, just enough, and then your body heals it, and so you can only go once a week, but then you do it once a week, like up to 6 times, and then your tennis elbow is gone. It's amazing.
Oh, that sounds similar to the Skinar self-controlled Euro neuroadaptive regulation. It's like a device you drag across your skin,
right?
And it has a like sends out a little electrical charge.
This is like you can feel it in your bones when they go over a bone. Like you can feel it. You're like, oh, that feels kind of weird, really gross. But oh my gosh, it works so good though. I've recommended it to so many people. It works so well for me, and they are getting immediate results as well. So it's like if you have certain type of injuries that have to do with the tendons and muscles.
Okay. That sounds like what AW71 brought up, Skinar. So maybe we'll have to take a look at that, or AW post that in the Discord somewhere.
Yeah, but if anybody puts shockwave therapy in Google, you'll be able. The physiotherapy clinics use it. Shockwave therapy. Yeah.
Shockwave.
Yeah. So again, waves, right? They do.
Okay. ECT. It's a product energen. Okay. Or shockwave. Oh, ESWT, physical therapy. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, got curious. 2 questions left. All right. Addie snuck one in. We'll let you go this time. Are curses really an actual thing? From Tech Cowgirl. Are curses really an actual thing, or is that just uninformed superstition? I've always felt the concept is nothing more than someone's strong animosity for another person.
So yeah, you can't. Somebody asked me about like removing curses because they told me they believed they had a curse on them, and if they paid me, would I remove it? And I told them I was like, well, I can do a reading. This is early days, right? I was like, well, I can do a reading for you if you want, but I don't believe in curses. But if you would like me to like pray in tongues over you, because again, it was just a psychological thing I felt with this lady, that she felt she had this on her, but I didn't want to lie and make her think that there were curses that can be put on you, because it's not true. It's more, like I said, we're going back to the when two people agree, right? So if someone tells you they put a curse on you and you believe they put a curse on you and you think about it, and we do, and I know it sounds really hokey, and believe me, this is totally against my personal beliefs. So I know it's from the people on the other side, but you can actually cause your own like problems from these quote unquote curses because you believe in them. And I was somebody before, like, I didn't believe in that at all, but it's not because they're doing it and because, some now demons are attached to you and you're going to pay the price because they sent them. It's like, you don't have that kind of power. If anybody has any kind of power, like for me, for example, when I was younger, I used to think that when I saw bad things happening to people, I used to think I made it happen to them.
Right.
Because again, when you're a teenager, when you're like 13, 14, you're very self-centered. Everything's all about you when you're a kid. Even if bad things are happening, you're the one who made them happen, right? Like it works against you, right? Being a teenager as well. So like I said, it was, I used to think that I made that happen to people, but I was just seeing what was happening to them. That's all. I was just seeing it, and I was seeing bad stuff because they were being horrible to me. So that was what was being thrown at me, and I was seeing it. But it wasn't until years later that I knew, like, because I don't have power to make bad things happen to people. The worst thing I can do to somebody is tell them probably the worst thing that was ever going to happen to them if they can't get out from under it. If they can get out from under it, then it would be the best thing, because then they can avoid it.
Yeah, I think Cliff, I mentioned a while back, like an old Native American saying that you're responsible for your thoughts, and if you dwell in the negative, essentially you'll attract negative. It's an energy, intention, all that kind of stuff. So that makes a lot of sense.
I believe in that completely now that the people on the other side have enlightened me. Because you got to remember, right? I was science and math lady, and I didn't do any woo-woo stuff, and I just kind of stayed away from that. So I tell you with a pure heart my opinion on these things, because I'll tell you, I'm like Schultz. I know nothing.
All right. Last question. I got to get the kickoff. Hi, Sam and Rudy. After marijuana getting legalized in some states in the USA, how would it impact kids, youth in the future in the US and Canada and Mexico?
Well, I mean, it will lower the cartels and a lot of the violence, and they're going to do it anyways. And like in the government in Canada, they tax it just like they do cigarettes and alcohol. And I do personally believe that alcohol is a much bigger blight on society than any marijuana is. There's at least some medicinal qualities to marijuana, and they're actually investigating mushrooms as well, like magic mushrooms and stuff like that, for people who are having psychological issues and chemical imbalances and everything. And so like I said, I don't think that this is a really terrible thing, Addie. I think it's going to add to the coffers, but more than anything, it's going to really keep crime. It'll lower crime, and also less teenagers who are like selling weed at school and then getting charged and ruining their life, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, great show tonight, Sam. Thanks for your insight. And we will look forward to the exciting crypto review tomorrow, now that we're on an up week, right?
I know. I'm excited. And we knew this was coming, but I'll see you guys tomorrow on the crypto review. Bye for now.